Rachel Zegler has been making headlines for years now, but not always for the right reasons. Despite her talent, her attitude and entitlement have started to push even some of her supporters away. From the moment she stepped into the spotlight, Zegler's career has been a mix of applause and backlash, often due to her social media presence and public comments. One of the biggest criticisms against her has been her habit of clashing with audiences of her own films. For instance, when her portrayal of Maria in West Side Story received criticism, she dismissed concerns rather than engaging with them. Mintios' major point of contention was that Maria, a Puerto Rican immigrant, was portrayed by Zegler, who is Colombian American. This led to accusations that Hollywood continues to blur the distinctions between Latino cultures instead of giving opportunities to actors from the specific backgrounds being portrayed. I hate that Maria isn't played by a Puerto Rican actress. It's not like there aren't any out there. I won't see it. This controversy felt especially contradictory, given Zegler's frequent discussions about the importance of representation. In Hollywood, she has passionately advocated for more diverse voices in entertainment, yet some critics argue that her casting as Maria went against her own rhetoric. The conversation around her upcoming role as Snow White has only intensified these debates. Zegler has emphasized how the film will modernize the character to align with current values, but this stance has only fueled further backlash. Her tendency to make strong statements while dismissing criticism has left many questioning whether her public persona is starting to overshadow her career. As the Snow White release approaches, it remains to be seen whether audiences will embrace her performance or continue to turn away due to the growing controversies.
For the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless.
When Rachel Zegler finds herself at the center of backlash, her apologies often become a tough pill for fans to swallow. Instead of directly addressing concerns, many believe she tends to deflect blame onto misunderstandings or her emotions. A prime example of this was the controversy surrounding her comments on the new version of Snow White and its feminist reimagining. After facing heavy criticism, she eventually released an apology video, one that came across as overly emotional rather than genuinely reflective. For some fans and critics, this pattern of shifting accountability rather than owning up to her statements has become a recurring issue. It raises the question, are her apologies sincere or just damage control?
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait.
Many fans didn't buy Rachel Zegler's apology, believing she was merely shifting the blame onto the audience rather than taking responsibility for her own statements. Some even argued that her response was more damaging than the original comments, showcasing an arrogance that left many baffled. Critics went as far as to claim that Rachel was actively sabotaging Snow White, almost as if she were trolling Disney with her remarks. The situation fueled frustration with the younger generation of Hollywood stars, with some seeing her behavior as a textbook case of victimhood mentality. Beyond her Snow White controversy, Rachel has also been accused of dismissing fan opinions, often labeling them as toxic or overly critical. One viral example surfaced from her early social media days, before she became famous. During live streams, when fans requested songs while she was singing, she would call them rude and even defensively state, "People say I'm rude to my fans," when she had only around 5,000 followers. Another moment that put Rachel under fire was her Shazam! Fury of the Gods press tour. During an interview, she made a surprising confession that led many to question her attitude toward the projects she took on.
Hey, do you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so...
Rachel Zegler's honesty in interviews has always been a double-edged sword. While some fans appreciated her candidness, others found her remarks off-putting and unprofessional. One of her most controversial statements came during the promotion of Shazam! Fury of the Gods, where she openly admitted she only took the role because she needed a job. While her honesty may have been refreshing to some, many fans and critics saw it as disrespectful, not just toward the film, but also toward the fans who were excited about it. It gave the impression that she viewed the project as a chore rather than a passion, which was a gut punch for longtime fans of the comics and the franchise. Others even accused her of acting as if she were above the project and the people involved, suggesting that her attitude came off as entitled. Timing of her comments made things even worse. During the SAG-AFTRA strike, a time when many actors were fighting for fair wages and job security, Rachel's statements about taking roles just for a paycheck left a bad taste in people's mouths. In a now viral video, she passionately argued that actors deserved better pay, specifically referring to her role in Snow White. However, many felt her delivery came across as tone-deaf, given the ongoing industry-wide struggle at the time.
And there are 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is.
While Rachel Zegler's stance on fair wages in Hollywood was well-intentioned, the way she delivered her message rubbed many people the wrong way. Critics argued that her tone came across as entitled and out of touch, especially given that the strike was meant to unite high-profile actors and lesser-known workers in the industry. Some accused her of making the moment more about herself than the larger fight for fair pay, with conservative commentators quick to amplify the narrative that her outspoken nature might harm her career, while some fans supported her and praised her for using her platform to advocate for industry-wide reform. Others felt she was only reinforcing the public perception of entitlement. This growing controversy, combined with her previous statements and clashes with audiences, has started to impact her reputation within Hollywood, particularly in terms of marketing films. Some industry insiders now see her as a potential PR risk, rather than an asset. Her behavior during press interviews for Snow White and the negative reception of the trailer have led many to question whether casting her in future films is worth the backlash. Instead of rallying fans around the project, her dismissive tone toward the original movie alienated Disney's core audience. Critics argue that she tarnished the legacy of a beloved classic to push a personal agenda, rather than modernizing the story in a way that respects its roots. One of the biggest criticisms Rachel has faced is the disconnect between her outspoken advocacy and her actual actions. She frequently speaks on feminist representation and social justice, but some argue her activism feels more performative than genuine. A prime example is her role in Snow White, where she stars alongside Gal Gadot. Rachel has been vocal in her support for Palestinian rights, while Gal Gadot has faced significant backlash for her pro-Israel stance. Some critics called Rachel a hypocrite, stating that if she truly stood by her beliefs, she would have refused to work with Gadot. One commentator put it plainly, if Rachel Zegler was really about what she preaches, she would have walked away from this film the moment she knew she'd be working with Gal Gadot. The fact that she didn't makes her an opportunist. Despite everything, there are still people who support Rachel and believe she could turn things around. However, with multiple controversies stacking up, her Hollywood future remains uncertain. If she continues down this path, some believe her career may not recover. What do you think? Can Rachel Zegler repair her image, or is the damage already done? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out my other videos for more entertainment drama.